Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. Last episode we came to Bryyo, and well, we explored Bryyo a bit more and learnt we have to take out 2 power supplies in order to take out the shield protecting the Leviathan. This episode we've come to the fireside, and Rundas' ship here. Rundas's ship is here, so we're going to go explore inside and see what we can find. So this is a very different feeling place, and quite common here will be this concept. A stone disc is designed to rotate when the wall inside the wall when the gel spout is ignited. So a charge blast will ignite spouts of fuel gel, and that's the kind of the puzzle gimmick of the fireside of Bryyo here. What's this? Stonework head is blocking access to a transportation shaft. Unable to enter from the side. Ah, yes, that's a thing. There's kind of a one-way transportation system around here. There's a lot of crap going on here. There is a whole pumping mechanism and various parts, and actually I'm going to leave it for now and deal with it a bit more later. For now, we've got various Reptilicuses to take out, so I think that was it actually. No radar when you're in hyper mode, which is mildly annoying. We got chunks of ice around here, abnormal energy sectors detected behind it, high temperature beams can melt the ice. And we don't have any high temperature beams, so that's not great. There's actually not a lot we can do here for now. We just need to, if we ignite these 2 bits here, then, come on. We can get up to the side here. And this is all we can really do in this area. Over here, behind this panel, we have got another bit of lore. So, the history of the Bryonians here. The Age of Schism. In time, the wonders of science were not enough for those who held the primal traditions in their hearts. The warnings of the Chozo to seek balance between old and new ways were not heeded by the Lords of Science, myself included. We forged on, ignorant of the rage in the hearts of the primals. The time came when Sephimas, the first Lord of Science, denounced the primals and their traditions in the center of the royal city. It was as flame to a dry forest. The age of science ended, and the age of schism was born. This is definitely a metaphor for Brexit, written 10 years before it. But, hey, what we want to do now is we have various snatches again that will ride me upwards towards a Korber. And once again, we need to make sure we don't actually hit the Korber, so I want to be fairly far over to the left here. So that's the Korber at the top here, definitely don't want it to grab us, and our goal is just that little platform to the left, so as late as we can. There we go, wait, and then blow up. You can actually blow up the Korber when it eats you, but it just hasn't come to that so far. Over here, there's a series of convoluted pathways. It's not a series of convoluted pathways, it's an absolute straight line. That will take us over here to another missile expansion. Chalk it off the visualizer, please. As I say, there's 55 of them in total. There's 255 in total, so there's 51 missile expansion, I think. There's 200 scans. There are far fewer scans in these games than the other ones, I think. The first 2 had somewhere like 500 or 600, so less scans, always nice. Did I want to be here? I didn't want to be here, fuck. What I wanted to do was fall onto this lower platform, which I failed to do, so now I've just got to ride the snatchers back up. There we go, make it into this tunnel. Ooh, that's a lot of ice there. Oh, that's the one that was telling me about high temperature stuff that I can't do. Wonderful. So to activate this lift, we need to pull the lever. That's the nice thing about the grapple lasso, it lets you kind of interact with stuff in a physical way that you kind of couldn't before. I enjoy it, at least anyway. Dead ahead, missile through there, and we are into a large room. So we have some hoppers, let's take them out. Single charge shot takes them out, I suppose it's a full charge shot. And you'll hear this music. This music is the same as in all 3 games. It means you're in a dangerous phazon zone. And indeed we are. So there's a big phazon thing blocking up ahead. And we know how to take these out, don't we? So let's bam, 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 bam. Phazon overload detected. Tap B rapidly to expel Phazon. We'll take everything out at that point, and you can see the Phazon is building up. So let's send out as much of it as we can. There we go. Oh, wow, that was interesting.
Samus, you just received very abnormal readings from your life support systems. Are you okay? As a precaution, we are downloading the diagnostic data from your suit to further analyze this situation. We will contact you again.
Yes, you said that already. In fairness, I did cut you off at the end. But yeah, there's Rundas. He's still kicking about. And now... time for an irritating enemy. These are Warp Hounds. Teleports over short distances, vulnerable to cold-based attacks. Well, you know what they're also vulnerable to? Fucking tank full of phasons to the face. So hopefully, yeah, they teleport, so they can be very irritating. You can take just about all three out with one batch of hyper mode, and then some more spawn in, because this game hates me. So yeah, you can see they teleport kind of instantly. Fully charged shots are your friend here. Just get them as soon as they're in. It's more powerful than a missile against them. So that starts that flowing, and you can see there's some lore behind it. I like how the doors also have little pictures of the lore. It's quite cool. Anyway, the Age of War. In the beginning, the conflicts were small, out of sight for most on Bryyo, but they grew, slowly but steady as the coming of the sun. Diplomacy gave way to brutality, and war came to our world. The Lords of Science turned their minds from exploration to destruction, and unleashed horrors unknown on their primal enemies. In retaliation, the Primals turned to the darkest of ancient powers, cursing us, the Science Lords, and all who served our cause. Friends from the stars tried desperately to end the conflict, all in vain. The people of war would not be denied. Oh, it's all going downhill for the Bryonians a little bit. Anyway, here we just need to ignite the two sides of this, and the bomb slot will become active. In which case, all it needs is a bomb. So, that's released some Gragnolls, which I'll just take up quickly. Or is it Granule? It could be perhaps Granule, technically, the way it's spelt, but, you know, that sounds weird. Where have they gone? At least this is where the radar is quite handy to actually just literally see where individual enemies are. There we go, there's one over there. So, let's actually scan around a little bit now we've got a moment, because there's a lot going on here. There's a pipe system used to source surplus fuel gel, which is at full capacity. We got a burning fuel gel required to energize that system. We got a maintenance rail that's not into position. We got a pumping tower that's moved to its initial position. There is another maintenance rail, and there is fuel gel flow regulators. There's all sorts of crap going on here. So I want to bring down these maintenance rails first. So we pull that one down as such, and then we connect this one. So that gives us kind of morph ball options. That's quite nice. This is the one we want to proceed over for now, because when we come down here, we got a little pump primer, and this is... Ugh, I hate this one. The gesture is just... Well, you'll see. So... Firstly, it's really difficult to do, because you've got to keep the remote pointer at the screen. Like, when it's flashing, it's me pointing off the screen, and it doesn't recognise it. I also feel like I should buy my Wii U dinner before this. So, with that done, we now need to... So we've got these bits flowing. If we hit both of them, the jets activate and spin that section around, which now unlocks some morph ball tunnels for us. So it allows us access to the kind of the conduits underneath. We cross over to this, and what do you think is going to be on the other side? I quite like this one for this... These like big like morph ball like puzzles are always quite cool, especially because they're not really puzzles as such, as in it's often quite hard to not figure out what to do relatively simply, but it's just cool to play around with it a bit and just be like, it's like a Zelda style puzzle. Like, it's not the hardest thing possible, but it just makes you think, and that's exactly what a video game should do. I mean, okay, don't get me wrong, you do need harder stuff occasionally, but I feel like this game gets the puzzle versus combat versus plot kind of balance really nicely, better than any of the previous Prime games have done, arguably. What it misses for that is it doesn't have the sense of like exploration and isolation that the first two have, of like you land somewhere and you're like alone and you just have to figure out what's going on, and the game doesn't give you much plot. You really have to kind of work for it, but that can feel really rewarding. Unknown compound within the ice, invulnerable to weapons fire, worth knowing. Dead ahead, we have got gel that's highly volatile. Internal ignition may overload the storage pipe system. Sounds good. Let's grapple this and ignite it. And ignite the second one here. I guess it doesn't bring it all the way around. There we go. Explosion! Now we're nearly to the top of this room. We've got one more thing to scan, which is up ahead here. You've got these little dudes rolling around in there. These are phase-on pill bugs. They generate a shield for defense, which is disrupted by concussive blast, which means morph ball. And indeed, phase-on pill bugs, you only ever encounter them while you're in morph ball system, so they'll just try and fuck up your morph ball, and we don't particularly want them to do that. So, let's just keep them away, discourage them with a couple of morph ball bombs. Oh dear. Get away. There we go. So now there's a bit of fire down there, and we need to see it plug up that fire by dropping a brick on it. Ow, ow. I'll go around this way, I suppose. And then when this fire dies down, round we go. Face on pill bugs, as you can see, regenerate pretty quickly. And then we have our final terminal up here. So if we ignite the fuel gel on both sides and hop in, let's go. So of course, every time we raise this thing up, it unloads some new bastardry. Anyway, that gets the fuel gel pumping, which is not particularly handy in and of itself, other than we've now got a platform which allows us to proceed onwards. And a new bit of tech to scan, and this is a quite cool thing. This up here, not the gel puffer, this is a grab ledge. Jump forward to grab onto the ledge and automatically pull yourself up. It's quite cool. You can just kind of mantle shelf up it by just going forward, which is pretty cool. The movement feels a lot freer in a lot of ways in this game. Oh, it's this bit. This bit isn't hard enough of itself. There's just an enemy here, which is basically only in this room, and the scan on it is an absolute fucking nightmare. Right, so firstly, you've got this statue spitting stuff down, which says, yep, raw fuel gel is unstable. It can be easily disrupted with hit with a strong blast. And you've got this thing here where the vine appears combustible. Its thick bark prevents you from using weapons to ignite it. So, what that means is light fuel gel in that statue's mouth. Doesn't last for long, does it? There, you see that little fellow pop up. That's called a gel ray, and we're going to scan it, and it pops up like once every 30 seconds for like a second. It's an absolute bugger to scan, but there we go. Doing that drops down a platform, which allows you to cross, gives you missiles. I think you can cross without doing that, but it's not easy. And now it begins. All I can advise here is patience. Bring up your scan visor, face in one direction, and just wait. Don't bother looking around and trying to get it when it goes. Just wait for it to appear in front of you. Eventually it will. Also, it looks like I'm moving because of the fuel gel on the floor. It's real weird. Well, that was the sound of it jumping up somewhere else. So that's pretty cool. There it is, there it is! Oh, I didn't even get a fucking tiny bit of scan on it. So the longer you hold the scan button down for, like, even if you don't scan it in one, you get a bit of the meter done, and then next time you can get a bit more. But you see what the window is there. God, it's evil. If I position myself that way, I might be able to... Because it was the issue there was it was kind of stuck against the door, so let's try there. Duh. Oh, well, I got most of it scanned there. Oh, you can see how crap the timing is on it, though. At least I know I'm in a good position. Patience. Patience is a virtue. But that was just stupid. I just completely missed it there because I'm an idiot, apparently. I was hammering Z the whole time, but you gotta point and press Z at the right time. If you're already holding Z when you point at it, doesn't work at all. Ugh. Oh, make it stop. Oh, there we go. God. Gel ray, passive form, beta to Bryyo, lives within pools of fuel gel. Oh, it's not worth it. I mean, it is because, 100%ing, but fucking hell. I'll have put on screen how long that was. I bet it isn't as long as it feels like, but just when you're standing there doing nothing, boy, are you aware of all that time passing so much. It's evil because the entire floor there is, like, scannable, so it's really hard to get the positioning on it. You want to stand up and see where you can see everywhere, but to quickly, when it jumps up, point at it is hard to do, and then scan it. The chances are you'll miss and end up scanning the fuel gel behind it anyway. The way to do it is just to work out one spot which it's going to jump up at, and just wait until it gets to that point. It'll feel inefficient, but believe me, you'll spend 30 minutes chasing it around the room before you realise you're barely getting a scan in on it every time. Just patience is your friend there. We got bits of fuel gel falling from the ceiling here, which is terrifying and can't be burned. If you touch them, though, they will very much burn you, so, watch out for that. Oh, there's another Gragnol. There's another new scan near here, but I need to... Ow! Not check for exactly where it is. I think it might be in this next bit. It is. So these little things, oh, bouncing around like maniacs. Get away from me! Ow! Christ! Scan the fucker, will you? Oh, let's try that again. Come on, scan. There we go. This is the gel bug. Phasite shell infused with fuel gel. Exposed when shot. What? Explodes and infused. I just mushed up over and over again there. Well, gel bugs aside, you'll notice I had a save point back there, which usually tends to mean something's upcoming. Hint, hint. Because you can move your ship around like this, there are fewer save points, definitely. Oh, and this big open arena. How did I not notice that massive ship above us here? Anyway, there are some pirates attacking us here. There's a couple of new scans here. There's a space pirate crate, which is quite cool, and also one of these. You can ignore the actual ships themselves. One of the pirates, there you go. That one is a new type that's worth scanning because they're blue rather than green. An armored pirate trooper covered with a thin layer of armor, susceptible to explosive attacks, which means missiles are your friend until his armor is dislodged. At that point, he just becomes a normal trooper, and a charge shot or two will take him out. As for the rest of them, this is pretty easy to fight off here. Don't bother with the ATCs. They're not worth your effort at this point. They'll fuck off pretty quickly. Just focus on the troopers that they drop. One at a time. Take them out. Do this little, you'll notice, I'm not sure if I've talked about it yet, but doing this like side hop thing with A, where you kind of go boop boop and jump around enemies. Very handy for remaining agile. Once you've taken out the majority of the enemies... What did I say about these guys fucking off? That was a lie, apparently. Hey, it's our old friend Frozone. Let's give him a quick scan. Hunter Rundas reported to have gone missing during a Federation mission. You reckon? Oh, good. He's lost his mind and Dark Samus has found it. Or Metroid Prime, as we should call her. So this is Rundas. Ice armor protects his body, but could be ripped off if he was stunned. So, this is one of those bosses, again, where you'll notice I can aim around 3D while locked on. Honey, where is my super suit? It's all I can think. Oh, it is vaguely ridiculous. That with a bit of Silver Surfer going on. But either way, yes, you'll notice we're not doing any damage, but just keep hitting him. And there we go, there's your moment. Grapple his armor off, and now he is vulnerable. Missiles aren't particularly useful here. Focus on charge shots. Unless he's distracted by doing something else, he's really good at blocking missiles with, like, the cryo field. I'll show it in a second, but I can show it now. If I fire a missile at him... Oh, no, now he actually didn't block that well. Oh, he's going up there, isn't he? Right. So, back up from him here, and this is where missiles are quite handy. Or has he got his armor back on already? The fucker he has. Oh, he's just re-armoring. Okay, this isn't the attack I thought it was going to be. So, I just need to keep wailing on him until the armor comes off again. Well, the armor doesn't come off, he gets stunned, and then I rip the armor off. Oh, he's frozoning. That, you can see, that's this little cryo thing he does. He does this brief white blast that completely blocks any missiles from hitting him. There we go. God, it's really hard to do that. There we go. Missiles, actually... I'm not doing him a lot of damage at the moment here. Well, ow, either way. It's when he does his ice block attack. He's running around like a right lunatic. Ow, yeah, here you notice he's cracking, he's breaking me and you've got to crack free from it. And he's got his armor back. Next time he does that, I'm going to go into hyper mode because you can do a ludicrous amount of damage to him in hyper mode. And I just kind of want to show off all of his attacks first. But he's not doing one of his attacks. Maybe he only does it when he's on lower health. Let's find out. But if I blast a full energy, offload a full energy tank into him with hyper mode, that'll be pretty effective. Let's have that armor off, and here we go. So you can't really actually see how much damage you're doing, but oh yeah, you can. His health underneath there, so you can do most of it there. We did like half of his damage with a single tank, so that's pretty handy. Probably, if I'm honest. Here we go. So this is where we back up. He makes these things appear. At that point, basically block him by shooting them, and then in the in-betweening period, fire a missile at him. Pretty handy way of dealing with those. Ah, that's a lot of healing. Excellent. So, once again, another round of hyper mode should just about do it. Towards the end of the fight, he's also capable of going into hyper mode. Remember, he's also wearing a PED suit. So I kind of want to stop that from happening as much as I can. There we go. Let's see what I can do. There we go. Wow. That's what, again, corruption is in the subtitle of this game, remember that. And can we talk about how fucking brutal that death is? He gets stabbed, like, in the spine, like, 6 times, and then Dark Samus appears as a ghoul and, like, Highlanders up his soul. Horrifying. Anyway, we get quite a cool item in response to that. We get... the Ice Missile. Yeah, you thought that was going to be the Ice Beam, didn't you? So we can now freeze enemies or liquids, hint, for a short period of time. It's quite cool. So in this game, compared to the other ones, I will say this now, there are no beam upgrades. Like, no new beams as such. There are different types of beam, because as we noticed, like, some things have said about high energy beam and high temperature beam and stuff like that. But those are linear upgrades. One just replaces your power beam and then it replaces it again. You never change between beams. And equally now, our missiles are just constantly ice missiles rather than having it as a beam. It's quite a nice little touch in some ways. That it means you don't have to worry so much about changing between weapon systems, and it doesn't have the beam ammo concept that. Have I missed an enemy? I think I've missed a new type of enemy. Yeah, they're on the wall over there. Oh, I'm going to kill myself. Oh, there's another gel ray there. Excellent. These are scorch bugs. Tiny insects that feed on fuel gel explode when shot. Oh, yeah, I want to get that scan. Oh, there's another bloody gel ray there. The less said about them, the better. They're not even, like, useful enemies because they don't attack you or anything. Come here. I'm having a bad time. I think I'm just too hot to land on these ice platforms. I feel like if something's that hot, you should be able to freeze it with missiles anyway. This ice missiles are very useful here, and this is why it's advantageous to have at least a couple of missile expansions at this point, though, because they make the sections now on Bryyo where you kind of need ice missiles a lot. It's very handy to not be constantly worrying about missile ammo. Let's prime that pump. So this is quite cool now that we just... oh, bloody hell. Oh, shitbags. Yeah, we basically just have the powers of Frozone now, which is pretty fucking cool. Oh, no. I don't know how long this stuff stays frozen for. Let's not find out. And then right at the end here, we get to the first of the shield generators. There's also... it's sneakily hidden, but round the back here is also another bit of Bryonian lore. Downfall. Look down to the time of battle, tribe against tribe. See fertile land swept clean of all living things by arcane nightmares or hellish blasts of science. See the stone giant Moganars do battle, destroying the land with their titanic blows. And hear the undying scream of a planet racked by darkest war. Those battles waged endlessly, and the resources needed to sustain our war machines were great. Bryyo too had become a casualty of the war. The air was filled with the smoke of battle, and the soil soaked with the toxins of pollution. Calamity after calamity visited the folk of Bryyo, until a world once known for wonders became a scarred husk under the stars. Only a small region remained habitable, and to it the survivors went, bringing war with them. Well, we've got most of the story of Bryyo now. It's a particularly sad one, but hey, here is an energy generator. Current display none. Restore power to operate. Well, what can we learn from this, then? Shield generator status online, inaccessible from current location, unable to reach from the ground. Oh, good. I'm sure it's supposed to give me a little bit of plot now, but I guess it doesn't. Well, we can scan this. Leviathan seed has embedded itself in the planet, currently protected by an energy shield. And this thing is Leviathan shield generator. Armor plating made of maldium. Armor integrity at maximum. Oh, maldium's a whole thing. We'll deal with that in a bit. There we go.
Clearly, this is the source of the energy. This generator is supplying power to the Leviathan's protective shield. You will be unable to destroy the generator with your current weapons. You must find a weapon capable of penetrating the generator's heavy armor.
So, that's going to be our task for basically next episode, is to track that down. You'll notice even now we are running a little bit low on the old ice missiles. So, Doctor, bring up the map visualizer, please. And this is what I'm going to use when I'm going to cut. We're going to go from here and over to the gel cavern. So here we can stop these bits of fuel gel falling from the ceiling by hitting them with an ice missile, and the real advantage of that is there's a new way open this way. If we go through, we will find, I mentioned this earlier, a little hole. We go through it. And it spits us out somewhere else. These are one-way transport systems, but they can basically be useful to avoid excessive backtracking, and it's a nice touch by the developers to put them in, quite frankly, because here we just have to do a load of backtracking. And if you look at the map here, there isn't much. They've got one room there, but that's about it for what ice missiles can open up. We will get that, but not right away, because we can't interact with it for now anyway. For now, we're going to call the episode there. So, we tracked down Rundas and learned he fell victim to Phazon corruption. We defeated him and we stole some of his power, and Dark Samus stole the rest of his power, which is pretty cool. Next episode, we will be exploring the thorny side of Bryyo, which we can now explore a lot better with our new ice missiles. Thank you very much, and good day.